Well, hey, how's it going?
Big Bob.
Bobbity-boo.
Big Bob.
And here we go. Episode number 27. What?
Look who's back.
It's like when you actually turn 27, you have no idea what's going on. Yeah, for everyone at home, last 2 weeks, things were different. Now it's normal again.
I missed you guys.
Remember these days? Remember these Mondays? You were there that first
Watch
week,
this.
kind of, sort of.
Yeah, and then we figured out let you guys have your own. I don't want to horn in on your solo casts, you know.
No, we did. We had a good week last week.
Yeah, it was good. That was awesome.
Company of Nabber at
Nabber.
Andrew McNabb, who can be followed at
He said Nabber_busy. Is this thing on? And it wasn't.
And it
It
wasn't.
wasn't, yeah. But you already heard it. Nabber_busy.
One more time.
Nabber_busy.
Wicked.
Busy.
Nice.
Oh, so it doesn't include the is this thing
So,
on?
Jabril, that's where all the dick pics go, right?
Jabril, who, by the way, is not here tonight, so I'm looking down the barrels.
I'm
right
still
now.
not letting him. I'm still not letting him get off on this dick pic thing. Like he's got to talk about this with someone.
Yeah, we're gonna have a dick pic conversation.
An
on here
intervention?
someday. Well, I don't know if it's an intervention because there's people who are on his side, people that agree that you need to get with the times.
I need to get with the times.
Get with
Send
the
more dick pics.
Get with the dick pics. Yeah.
No,
Also,
that is a slippery slope.
Also, Jabril the Thrill, you missed your souvenir, so fuck you. It's here waiting for you, or is it? Maybe I'm just going to throw it out, and you had to be here tonight.
Pawn it off. Jabril the unthrilled.
I doubt he will. He's really a nice guy, actually,
Save it,
Jabril.
yeah. So
I'm not. I'll throw it out.
It's just a token.
But
It's just a token thing.
What are you trying to say?
What do you mean? Nothing. It's a token of
What
my
are you-
love.
what are you
for
trying
all
to
of
say?
you. But it's not something of monetary
token.
value. It's just a nice
just a token.
token.
Making mountains out of molehills.
Just tokens.
I got you guys postcards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even read mine yet. I was
So
going to
for
save it
anybody
for
who
after the
doesn't know what's
show.
going on
can
right
read
now?
No, I wanted to save it.
Oh, that's nice.
I like pleasant moments when they happen,
Nice.
which means that I need them more often than not.
All right.
Tender.
Duly noted.
Yeah.
Postcards every podcast.
Yeah, this is a postcard. For anyone who
Postcard
doesn't
podcast.
know, yeah, it's a postcard podcast that Lars was in New York City, and this is a postcard from New York City, I assume. I don't know. I mean, it's written on the back.
You
He
can just
could've-
order those things online.
Yeah, he
these
might have just
days.
ordered
I didn't
it
even go to New York.
when
He
was
just
in
printed. He
America.
just printed them out.
Shelter.
He was like staying in an Airbnb down the street and just like printing shit out. Like, I love New York. I'm gonna get this guy on livecast with you. Woo! I hired this dude to help me. He's my brother. It's like I don't know. Who wore sunglasses and could have had a wig. You know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah,
Could
no,
have
it
been
was
just a
actually
total
me.
stranger.
Yeah. I've been in a green screen studio.
I was
for
going
10
to say, all your
days.
Instagrams have just been green screened. It's like, yeah. it
Yeah,
could be
man.
anywhere.
I don't do any of this shit for real.
All right, so I'm going to interrupt our normal random wake just for a moment. I'd like to say it is just after 11 in the evening on November 11th, and that can only mean one thing in this fine free land of ours, that it is Remembrance Day.
It was probably 11:11 when we started on 11th. So
it's 11:17 right now.
And
it's
so
pretty
you know
close.
what? You know what? I just want to take a split second. I don't have a hat on, which I normally do, but it's snowing, so I took mine off. I just want to take a split second and say all of us here at 39DD Show, for one reason or another, respect and cherish those who serve and those who risk their lives for honor, peace, and the future. And you know what? To that, since we're not the kind of show that does a moment of silence, we don't have that kind of time. We're gonna drink to you guys instead. And I think most of you by this point, after watching that shit all day, are drinking too. So, one for you, boys and girls.
yeah,
It's,
thank you.
much
Thank you.
obliged. Thank you for everything. Anyhow, sorry. Now we've had our serious moment for the day.
We didn't stand because our producer and our focus pillar would kill us. So just be wary. We thank you. So that's part of the common day politics. It's up to date with where we are.
Well, I mean, the truth is that's also, the freedoms to have these shows, the fact that I was such a reckless, crazy lunatic my entire life, is also due almost certainly to the freedoms of the country I live in.
Yeah, the
But
fact that
there's
we
a lot
can,
of places I couldn't have got away with the behavior I had. Just wouldn't have flown
or,
at all.
or the
right?
fact that we could sit here, talk about it, publish it publicly, freely. Yeah, it's pretty great.
Most
So-
countries, you would have been repeatedly beheaded.
Yeah, there were a lot of places where
You
I
have
would have spent some time.
got
as the
many
headless
heads
horseman.
rolling.
It wouldn't have been drunk tank. It
No.
would have just been like the headless
Execution.
tank.
Or like one by one, like cut off like arm.
Or like re-education camp forever.
It would be your arm, and then your hand, and then your foot, and then your leg.
Do you
and-
know why you drink so much? Yes. Good, to the camp. There are only 5 lights. 5 lights. Like, have a Picard moment there. No, I like I said, I completely adore the country that I was born and live in. I mean, honestly, this place is unlike any other place in the world. And this city, Toronto, shout out T-Dot, 100%.
World
This
class.
city
You're a
city is
beauty.
unlike any other town I've ever been to, and I haven't traveled the world. Okay, I'm not gonna like claim to be some kind of globe hopping,
Globe trotting.
Yet.
Yeah.
We're taking this global
But-
very soon.
But I can tell you this: my experiences across North America have been reasonably diverse, and Toronto was unlike anything I've ever seen or heard of.
As Lars might call it, the 416.
Yeah. In the 416. We're starting something new. You know, everyone calls it the 6. Can we just start? We're
Fuck
gonna
you,
shift
Drake.
it to
It's the 416. What? And I just picked a fight with Drake's crew at the
fuck
same
with
time.
people.
It's
Yeah,
going
yeah.
viral.
Let's
Fuck
do
you,
that.
Drake. It's a 416.
Yeah.
Come down in my neighborhood. What 416?
Yeah.
Actually, not fuck you, Drake. We would love to have your involvement in any form.
Yeah, come on,
If you
come on
wanna
our show.
Do a show. You want to
We
be
love
on a,
you and your producers and
Be
your
on an
publicists.
episode, YOLO for life, OVO or
Yo,
whatever.
we swear we're not gonna butt lick, not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit. How does it taste? There was a little laughter in the audience here too, momentarily, because we have beer cans passing around, obviously, and there's a tall can. I mean, just for reference sake, that's a tall can. That's a stubby. There's a beer can passed out, and it's a very large can, but it was held by a very large man, and so it's just kind of funny when you have a large can like this, and
Do you want to get the effect live on TV?
McNabb in the audience is holding it. Who is a big man as
Looks
well.
kind of like that.
But it looks like that.
Yeah.
Just an aperitif.
I feel like of all the beers here that we have, none of these are sponsors. This is not a sponsored post, but right now, currently, we have McClay's and Eastbound. And I'm going to say Eastbound by far gets
They
the
definitely
win.
got the bus can
This
going
is a
on here.
man-sized beer right
If you're
here.
traveling
That's a
somewhere,
giant-sized beer.
somewhere, that's the kind of can you
Man-sized
want.
beer, and that's what we have in the audience.
Eastbound
And let's
Brewery.
face it.
Maybe we need to have a chat. We
It's
love
delicious.
you. We're you're right down the
Yeah,
neighborhood.
McNabb, you're absolutely right.
You're in the hood.
I face that problem every day. Beer, it is delicious.
Oh, it's so good. It was an unexpected find out of the refrigerator. 'Cause, I mean, it's giant. You go, whoa, and it's a pretty good taste to go along with it. So got my vote.
Which one is that? What does it say on the side there?
This is the Eastbound. It's the Hafenweisen. Hafenweisen.
Yeah,
Filled on November-
Hafenweisen.
Hafenweisen.
Yeah, he's Scottish.
Continue. What percent is it?
It's 5.5.
Healthy.
Nice,
Healthy.
nice.
Yeah.
What else does it say on that
Little-
can right there?
little
I'm
bit.
curious. By the way, you're an audience member. You came to this podcast tonight, and now you just found a random beer. This is great. How fun is it to be
Yeah.
at this podcast?
Shout out to Mallory, who was just like, "You want a beer?" Everybody was cheering. I'm like, no beer. And she's like, "You want a beer?" Yeah.
You should have just asked. The beers flow around. I mean, it's like a river. You need a beer. Just ask for one.
And
Beer.
Eastbound Brewery is just in our hood too. They're just like they are like below next door neighbors.
Yep. We
sort
could.
of.
I could fall out of the front door and land at the stoop.
Right. And it's great because they
Especially if I
also
put my boot to your ass on the way.
I was gonna say some with a little bit of help. Thanks.
A little
Paul.
bit of help.
they sell out of the fridge till like 11 p.m. too. So
Every night except for Mondays,
yeah.
which we got there at 8:57, and she's like, "Oh, you guys just made it. Just about to close her down." We were like, what?"
Thank you, Eastbound.
Thank you,
Unofficially,
Eastbound.
this is not
So
sponsored.
also on Rimmer State, we're going to talk about tactics,
Oh yeah.
and we're going to talk about 39 drunk disorderly tactics. Yes, Jim just screamed out, "Taken from the rear," which he knows is
Jim.
effective because of how many times he's been doing it.
You of all people should know that if you're gonna yell something out, you gotta use the audience mic. But
No,
I'm
no,
glad
no.
that you didn't. So
No,
Yeah.
it's okay.
For that
I'm
one
just
time.
Just
no.
remember
It's
that.
best that we out him for it. I don't mind
He
repeating
knows
what he
when
said because it
not.
was great. I visualized him, taking it from the rear or, leaping to the fore or
Jim needs the extra filter of
Conning the
okay,
tower, whatever.
think about something to
Should I be
say, then reach
Googling-
for the mic, and
Yeah.
then bring the mic back to you. And by then, if you haven't talked yourself out of saying it, then go ahead and say it.
Should I be Googling taking
Yeah,
it from
but
the
then
rear?
3 other
So-
things go into my head. It's by the time I
Exactly.
do that, the first thought is
Exactly. And we could have the last minute and a half of this podcast back stricken from the record. So we need to
we
continue
can just
on.
fix that in
Set-
post, can't we?
We've said that.
There are so many things, ladies
I'm
and
just
gentlemen.
busting your balls.
There are so many things that
Stupinator.
get fixed in post. I'm actually 4'3". It's crazy. It's this raising stool.
It's true.
My
This
inflatable jacket.
is all CGI.
Yeah.
Mostly angles,
You can tell because
mirrors.
the vintage Jaws shirt, like, they don't sell those for Giants. Oh, wait, they do now. Get out there and buy a vintage Jaws shirt. Thank you, Mr. Big and Tall, for, like, deciding you're going to sell shirts that don't just make you look like Chubby Checker. That's really nice of you. You guys are really awesome.
You bought that at Mr. Big and Tall?
Yeah, man. I'm actually going to, I'm going to big up Mr. Big and Tall.
You're gonna big it up.
As ridiculous as that is.
This is not a sponsored post.
No,
this is
it's not a sponsored
unofficial.
post, but I'm going to big
Mr.
them up.
Big
It's
and
unofficial.
Tall.
It's an unofficial Bob
Great
endorsement
sponsor.
just because, frankly, like, where the fuck else to buy my fucking clothes? But I'll tell you, you know what? The guy I went and saw was pretty cool. He was an awesome dude. He hooked me up. Got, like, a mad discount. You buy, like, normal shit, and they give you, discounts and stuff for being a big, as long as you're actually big. You go there, like, you're a member. Here you go. You're a member now. Blah, blah. It's good. It's nice. It feels decent because, normally when you're a big guy trying to buy clothing and shit like that, it's actually a huge fucking pain in the ass. It's not just kind of ridiculous. It's super ridiculous. Like, I want a pair of jeans that fits, and it takes, like, 2 hours to find one pair of jeans that kind of fits, and they don't really fit very well. Like, a lot of guys can walk into, like, army surplus and just grab something off the rack, and it's like, yeah, well, they just stopped making shoes and stuff for guys my size. Like, I got in high school and shit like that, I got used to going in and buying, like, the pair in the window that were, like, sort of a joke. Like, this is, like, for show.
What size are you?
My
Shoes.
18.
18.
Which is not the biggest they get, obviously. Like, Shaq and others who have bigger shoes than me, but you know what? They can afford it. I have to shop retail, which means you walk into a store, I'm like, yeah, do you have anything in 17 and a half, 18? And they look at you like you're speaking Chinese or something. Like, what do you mean? And I'm like, no, dude, like, well, we go up to 14 here,
For my
Reebok.
foot, yeah.
I'm like, so of no use to me whatsoever.
We can sell you a size 13 pair of sandals, and your toes can just stick
Yeah,
out
that's
the
right.
end.
You just, we'll just cut the tips off of these Converse, and you'll be fine,
We're
right?
like, we got these Flintstones ones right here. It'll be great.
How about 2 9s?
That's right. 2 9.
Tubinator, and he totally redeems himself.
Really?
18, that's good to know.
That
Okay.
was better than my Flintstones.
If you're
joke.
watching this right now and you make size 18 shoes, maybe we need a shoe sponsor right here. Or if you're shopping ever, maybe you're at a Winners and you stumble across a pair of size 18s.
And I guess I'll give a shout out to my shoe guy then, because he's never going to get a sponsor anywhere. He's just a little independent shoe store at Main and Danforth. And it's called Shoe Avenue. And he's this little guy, and he's amazing.
Write that down.
And he went and found me at the street corner. I'm standing at the street corner in Main and Danforth waiting for the fucking light to change. And this guy comes up and goes, Sir. And I'm like, I thought he was going to hand me a card or something saying, like, I'm blind, may change or whatever, right? I didn't know what was going on. Because people don't usually walk up to you and go, Sir. Oh, sir. So I'm like, what's up, dude? And he's like, I own a shoe store. I'm like, oh, yeah? He's like, I sell big shoes. And I was like, oh, yeah? He's like, no. All in the neighborhood. Size. Looks at me. Looks at them. 17, 18, even 19. And I'm like, yeah? I'm like, is this a scam?
Yeah, you're like, did you just,
And you show up at the store and like you push into a white van and driven off to like, I don't know, giant slave camp. But no, I went to the shoe store. The guy's amazing. He runs this place like an old world gentleman would. You walk in, he's like, sit, have a bottle of water, relax. He's like, what do you need? I'll bring some shoes out. Well, you just sit there. Put your foot on the thing. I'll bring the shoes to you. We'll try the shoes on. No, bigger shoes, sir. No. He sells belts. He's got the whole deal. The guy's amazing.
Shoes and belts. Wow.
Oh, like,
Got
I'm
belts.
wearing a man belt right now for him. He has the tools to retool your belt. So he said to me, he's like, this belt doesn't have enough holes or too many holes in the belt. He's like, come back. I'll fix the belt for you too. Like he's a gentleman, And that's the thing. The independent store is always where you're gonna. If you're anyone of any exceptional size, if you're short or you're tall or you're fat or whatever, You're never the big chain stores are never going to serve you because they're a mathematical demographic. They're designed to fit this group of profile, and that's it. Period. Because that is 99% of their business, and they know.
His numbers hitting
That's
the.
right.
the
And as
figures.
long as they cover that demographic,
Demographic,
it doesn't matter that they don't serve those small niche group individuals because they don't have to make a profit. So we will always need little brick and mortar mom and pop shop operations.
Unless we get rid of all the weird people who are outside of those numbers, and then we're all just.
All right, so
maybe
Trevor
we
just talked about
eliminate the babies with
genociding
large feet.
giants
Yeah.
live on our podcast. Now, he's sitting less than 3 feet from two
I was gonna
fucking
say that
giants.
too. Like, you do realize what you just said. You would probably eliminate like 80%.
It was
of
a
the people.
joke.
There's like two. Yeah.
Trevor, this is the
Give it-
episode.
give
in
it
the
a
future
shot.
that Trevor gets canceled
Yeah,
on.
it's like,
This
yeah,
one- this one-
I'm not.
So,
bad.
like Don Cherry,
10 years from
Yeah.
now.
like Don Cherry,
Reminder of
Trevor
Don
has
Cherry.
Trevor said inappropriate things about giants on today's episode,
Yeah.
and now
Bye-bye.
must wear like I don't know the dinosaur hat of shame or something.
You know, it's funny because during the pre-show outside, it was myself, it was Big Bob, it was Lars, and then Trevor. And Trev was the little guy in the room, standing 6'1". He was the little guy.
I was the odd number out, so really I should be
You
eliminated.
look tiny next to the three of us. I was looking at you like, are you a sick little girl? Or
And you know, the funny part of it too is that especially
No, he's an anemic androgen.
it's always the little guys that talk. So I'm not surprised.
Right, Luna?
Because that's all they got.
you guys are huge, though. McNabb, how tall are you?
I'm 6'6", or as I like to say, 5'18". 280 pounds, you know, average.
5'18". That's the best. Let's make up one of those for you.
Yeah, but 6'11's already kind of a joke. It's like
Right. What's 6'11" 5 then? 5'23". 5'23" inches.
5'21". Yeah,
Something like
five
that.
5'23". Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
5
Yeah,
foot
I'm
23
just 5 foot
inches.
23 inches.
Nice.
325 plus 40 pounds.
Right. You look like a Viking.
Yeah, I probably got some Viking blood.
It smells like one.
I was like, thank you.
Have you ever torn a man limb from limb?
I've definitely thought about it. Does that count?
No.
Well, sorry to disappoint you guys.
And we're back. Okay.
That's not
Where were
disappointing.
we?
That's not disappointing. Because you know what? I'll tell you, I've never torn a man limb from limb, but I've broken enough limbs on other men to know that it's close. I think the closest I ever got was a spaghetti fracture. And that's when you twist an arm.
Oh.
So, like, I got it by the elbow and the wrist, and I turned the whole arm, and it kind of exploded from wrist to shoulder. But the bone exploded. Each, you know, I don't know all the names, but the brachials and the radial it blew up at the same time because it just went to its max, right? He kind of rotated over himself, and I heard everything go. And because I knew the guy, he sent out a text with his x-rays to his friends being like, he said he was in a motorcycle accident to his friends. But what I found out was that it was not obviously a motorcycle accident. I was the motorcycle that accidented him. And yeah, his bones actually exploded. Like, like willow branches, like, you know? They kind of like if a broom handle were pressed too much and it kind of splintered up. I don't know. It's hard to describe, but it just sort
No,
of.
you're
blew
doing a
up.
good job describing
Oh, like a
it right
kendo
now,
stick.
actually.
You know, like in wrestling when
Yes.
they hit each other with the kendo stick?
Yeah, and the
start
kendo
breaking
stick goes
apart?
all willowy. Yeah, it's like that. Only it's like that. Anyway, so I've done that. I've done the knee kick, where you can see the kneecap slide up into the skin tissue.
Whoa.
above the-
Okay, explain that one. What does that mean? You kicked him in the knee?
I kicked up into his knee and forward.
Oh, so it just rips the
kneecap-
patellar tendon?
The kneecap
Yeah.
rips off,
Right, and it
and it goes
retracts.
up, and so it's sitting up in the thigh somewhere, in the lower thigh.
As nature intended.
So it's as nature intended. So it's like this off-center turtle shell above where their knees should be, and a lot of screaming. I've also seen spaghetti arm. I had a guy try and machete me once when I was working at the door, and he broke the window and stuck the machete through the window, the French glass doors. And just like Lars has at his door to keep strays out, the plankins there, you hang the line on.
The red velvet rope? Is
Yeah,
that what
there
you're
was one of
referring
those
to?
poles sitting there. A
Stanchions?
stanchion. That's the one. And I said the wrong word.
This
Right,
episode
that's
brought
right,
to you by Stanchions.
I grabbed the stanchion, and his arms waving around like this, about this far out, about this far, about to the upper mid, just before the elbow, sticking through the window. And he's waving this machete around, and I just brought the stanchion down on his arm.
Nice.
And it's in the window, and so it jams onto what's left of the glass that he broke, and then just snaps clean right there.
Oh.
He makes this very high-pitched squeal and pulls his arm out, and it's flopping it's like a spaghetti noodle. It's just the hands.
Was he
just
still
jumping.
holding the machete?
No, it flew out of his hand. But like from just past
funnier
the
if it
elbow,
was,
like to the elbow, his arm was solid.
Still doing a little
And then from just past the elbow, it just went whew, and was like swinging and flopping. And he's squealing, and it's flipping around like a tentacle, And I'm like, oh, wow, woo, don't do that, man. Like, stay still.
When from your POV, when his arm came through the window, could you see his face or body, or
Yeah.
did you just see an arm and chop it off?
It's a French glass
Okay.
door, like a bunch of little rectangular panes. And he's pressed up against them, all angry, and his face like, and he's waving this machete around inside, and I'm like, backing up, my crew's all there, and I'm like, fuck it. The first thing in hand, I just saw it, I'm like, yeah, perfect.
Right.
I just grabbed it and went, and it's like a guillotine, right? Just instantly. Wiggle arm,
Yeah, stanchions are very bottom heavy. So
Yeah,
if you get that weight up and swing it around,
I
that
got it right
thing
over
will
my head. Like I
crush.
picked it up and just went,
Oh, my
like a battle
gosh.
axe chop, double-handed down on his arm. Just, boom, and then machete was over there, and I'm like, yes, machete's gone. And I see the arm doing the tentacle in the fucking window, and I'm like, oh, fuck. That kind of hurt.
Like slasher.
Trevor has a genuine look of horror.
And
right
the cops
now.
came in. Cops came and shut the show down because there was like a riot on the street. What happened is a reggae group came over the border. And they came to the show, and they got to the border and got stopped for drug possession, and couldn't come over. So they canceled the show at the very last minute, like an hour before showtime. So there's 100 people standing out front, all of whom decided to blame the venue that the band couldn't play.
As they should have.
Yeah.
Clearly.
And they're trying to get, like, where's our money? And I'm like, well, Ticketmaster has your money. We haven't sold a single ticket. Like, what do you mean? We don't have any money. Like, we're taking a loss. We're paying staff, and we can't open. Like, what do you want? And someone rioted, and this guy went particularly crazy, and ended up getting spaghetti armed for it. It's one of those things, the cops showed up, and they picked up spaghetti arm guy, and they came to the front door, and they're like, so, what's up with this? And I'm like, I pointed at the machete on the ground, which hadn't been touched by anyone. I'm like, that was his. And I said, I hit him with that. And they looked at it, and they're like,
yep, that
they look at the
makes
broken
sense.
window, and they look at the whole scene comes together. It doesn't take like a rocket scientist. Arm goes through the window, machete gets waved around. Stanchion clips arm
Was
just
there a
above
dent in the
elbow.
stanchion?
No, I mean, not at all. It has a really thin base. Like, I mean, it's like I didn't cut his fucking arm off. I honestly,
Right.
in retrospect, I thought about it later. I was like, if that had been just a little bit thinner, and a little bit of felt, the felt pad
it
on
was
the
the
bottom.
base that actually hit the
Well, yeah, I
hit
picked
the
it up.
arm.
I picked it up by the top.
Oh, okay.
and swung it
yeah,
like a
yeah,
battle
yeah.
axe.
I got you. Okay, Jim. That's
Yes.
all right. All right.
Precisely.
Nice. That's amazing. Have you ever double spaghetti armed a guy? And if not, when we actually shoot the show, I have a visual of like he would look like one of those wacky inflatable guys, but
Yeah.
reverse.
You get to lose the crown of.
The crown of shame has been removed.
Double spaghetti arm? Yes or no?
With the
No, I've
machetes.
never double spaghetti armed anyone. Although I did break a guy's collarbone on both sides.
Yes. So what happens then? He
That's
just
just, yeah, sort of. Well, you can move your arms, but they're sort of paralyzed. Like you don't want to move them. And that was not and that was because I jumped on him off the
It's gonna
balcony
be in the show.
of a bar. Sorry, fine. Very simple. He's standing in front of the bar. I'm on the balcony. I'm near the doors in the balcony. I hear a radio call from one of the bartenders. This guy's getting fucking really crazy down here. I expect the guys on the first floor to deal with it, but I walk over to the edge of the balcony to look over and see. I look down. There's the bar. This guy has snatched a vodka bottle off the sidebar. He smashed it, and he's leaning over the bar, trying to gouge the fucking bartender with it. This chick. So I climbed over the balcony railing. And there's a light rail, like a rig with
When you climbed over, like the Big Show over the top rope, like
sort of.
Exactly.
Like I just stepped over the railing because I know there's a light rig about 3 feet down, and it's just a big metal pole with a bunch of lights hanging on it. So I stepped down onto that, and I'm standing there holding onto the thing. I'm looking. I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing, Bob?" And I'm like, "Fuck it. You're engaged. You've committed now. Go for it." And the guy's right down beneath me under the bar, about 12-foot drop. And the bartender's like panicked and whatever. So I'm like, fuck, I'm going to go for it. So I drop off the thing and just boots first. Right? And I land on the dude. I land on his back because he's standing up like, "Boo." So the bartender, all she said, her description was better than mine. Her description was, 1 minute there was a guy standing there threatening me with a bottle. And the next minute, you're kind of standing up a bit dazed in exactly the same spot Buddy Guy was. And there's this terrible squealing, screaming, crying noise coming from somewhere. And I'm like, I balance myself at the bar. Sorry, give me a sec. And I go down and I'm like, no, he's fine. And she's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, are you okay? She's like, yeah. What's up? I'm like, I already told the medics on the radio to meet me here. They'll be here. And the guy comes down the stairs and goes, Bob, what the fuck? And I'm like, okay. So I move over to the left. What she doesn't know is that's me stepping off of the guy at that point, right? He's been pinned flat to the floor underneath me the entire time. So when they get him up to try and take him out, both his arms are not spaghetti, but he just can't, you can tell he doesn't want to move them, and he's screaming every time they touch his shoulders. Because my boots basically came down on his shoulders. Between his, so basically my giant feet just appear, right? So she's looking at him, and he's going, and then boots appear, and he just sort of disappears under the bar, like gone. And I'm sort of crouched up, and I'm like, hey, are you all right? And I'm kind of like stabling myself on the bar, like, I'm like, hold my legs.
Surfing bodies.
I don't have a great knee, right? And I'm like, she's like, you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
How far was this from like
Well, I was 12 feet up, and he's like,
What?
like a
12
like a
feet?
6 foot guy. And I didn't like jump on him. I dropped down.
Yeah, that's pretty far.
So I fell 3 or 4 feet before I hit him, and just kind of like Mario stomped him into the ground like he was a Koopa Troopa.
Yo, can I just say I did the fall arrest course recently for working in skyjacks and whatnot, and the way that the fall arrest harnesses work, that it's like somebody who's 180 pounds or 200 pounds drops 6 feet, and then it stops you in that harness. Just that drop of 6 feet is enough to kill you. Like, it's enough to crush your organs, give you major bruises and whatnot. So the way these fall arrest systems work is that there's a piece that kind of works one time like an airbag, like it pops out, but it's a bunch of little stitches together, so that when you fall, it engages this safety system and it tears these stitches apart, and that's how it slows down your force to be able to so that you don't just crush all your organs and whatnot.
Like a weird bungee cord kind of thing,
Yeah,
like it
it's-
stretches.
Well, no, it's literally stitching. It
It's
rips.
stitches,
It rips
yeah.
a certain
Yeah.
tile's
It rips the
cross
stitches.
stitching like industrial
Gotcha.
threads.
Yeah, and
Gotcha.
so that your force pulls the stitches apart, but the pulling the stitches apart slows your body so that you don't get tugged on the bottom.
Well, the veteran
Crush
medic
you.
who picked this guy up told me later. He said that guy suffered the kind of trauma that you'd get if you were hit by a bus standing at the corner, because I weigh a respectable 350 plus pounds, and I fell 4.5 feet, and then hit him and carried him all the way to the floor, another 5-6 feet, right? The impact on the floor is what really did the damage to his collarbone, which is why it broke on both sides. Like, just cleanly snapped and put both his shoulder blades were like down here. You know what I mean? Like he looked like he had the world's longest neck, because his shoulders were like where your armpits usually begin. He was just like, and his face was all mashed. And I broke his wrist because his wrist was over the bar. With the bottle, right? So his wrist hit the bar,
I wondered
snapped,
about that.
bounced up and went down. His face hit the floor, broke his nose, and his collar was standing on. Got like pushed down, like, so he's like, yeah.
Are you hurt? Just my bones and organs.
I never once asked him if he was okay. I didn't care. You slap a bartender and then break a bottle and threaten him with it, you think bouncers are gonna be like, do you know what I think your feelings are? I think we're gonna talk about your emotional problems. No, we're gonna crush your ass like fucking pina colada. That's the end of that.
What do you
Believe you me.
You've signed your fate.
If you're a wrestler or a cartoon character or
Can I
anything.
get the numbers again? You
Hey! I was in the middle of a question. I was in the middle of a
I'm
question
sorry.
here. Come
I'm
on.
sorry. Yeah, I'm actually doing the math right
keep
now.
doing the math, but thank you. That's K-Rock
I'm
right
sorry.
there.
Go ahead.
Thank you. You're welcome. We're all good. But I do want to know the answer to this
Yeah,
because
so
I'll forget. What would that, if that was your like finishing move, what's that move called? We need to make up a name for that.
No.
You
I've
stomp
done pile
on 2
drivers.
collarbones.
That's just yeah. That I don't know what that is. Since I can't jump that high, and I don't know.
It's got to be Mario related.
It's unique. It's like the atomic drop or like fucking meteor strike, Stalin's fist or something. You know what I mean? Like it's got to be ridiculous. You
You
know?
know something about boots on shoulders.
Collar crusher. The replacer. You're standing there and then Bob replaces you.
The replacer.
All right. So I was 12 feet off the ground.
Okay.
Sorry, Kareem. Go ahead.
No,
I'm
no,
sure
it's all
your
good,
point's
it's all
way
good.
better.
At the
was-
time,
it-
I rated
it was a
a
left-
respectable,
These are left brain, right brain questions.
like 375, 380 pounds.
All right.
Are you calculating actual force right now?
Yeah, the
Okay.
speed at which he actually hit the guy. So you hit the guy at around 40 kilometers an hour.
Yeah. Kind of felt that way.
Yeah.
Like he disappeared real fast. And on the footage, actually on the footage at the bar, which I wish I had access to, it's exactly that. Because the footage, it's behind the camera, it's behind the bartender, right? So it's the bartender's head, and this guy going, and all of a sudden, whoa, something very large and dark fills the screen for a second, and then pops back up from behind the bar, and I'm like, oh. And I'm sort of weebling a bit because I'm standing on an uneven surface, which is this guy, and I'm like, ah. And I'm like, first thing in my mind, I'm like, are you okay? And because we had sort of a thing. It was a cute girl.
The Twin Towers fell exactly the same way.
And I was like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm okay. Kind of like slapped my face, and I'm like, bastard. I looked down, I looked back up, and I'm like, okay, it's okay, he's cool. Like, it's done.
The replacer.
Shout out
Because it's not crying. I think Preacher, the show, did it best when he's like, you ready to hear that rabbit caught in the trap sound now? And then he breaks the guy's arm in a really awkward way, and the guy goes, ah! Like that. It's exactly like that. It's these sounds. They're not like normal human sounds. They only happen when you've been kind of mulched. So the guy's trying to cry out, but all he gets is, and this wet sort of,
A wet
well, because
cry.
his nose is fucking crunched and it's bleeding everywhere. So as he bleeds out, he goes, and then the medic comes over. I'm like, okay, and I step off the guy, and the other bouncers show up through the crowd, and I'm like, okay, he's done. It's good. Get him out. And for a second, the other bouncers sort of looking like, oh yeah, he's done. What the fuck did you do to him? And then the one guy just goes like this. He goes, and the three guys remember, oh yeah, right. Bob was stationed on the balcony. And as a group, the medic's taking the guy away. He's like, and you see three bouncers going, looking up to the balcony rail, and I'm like, no, I came off the light rig, which is like 4 feet lower, right? And they're like, okay, so it wasn't like a 20-foot drop, which would have hurt me seriously too. It was literally like, the guy was there, I could see his head. I could probably have leaned off where I was holding on the railing and grabbed the top of his head if I really wanted to. I'm like, no, fuck it, just whoop, like a Mario hop. Just a little hop, like, whoop.
Did you know that you weren't going to land on his head and break his neck? Or
This wasn't for sure. It was like, here we go.
The problem is, in situations like that where someone's being ultra violent, like he was
Right.
waving a
You
broken
have
bottle
warrant
at a
to-
woman.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. He signed his contract.
Here's the choice. Either I let this woman get stabbed or cut for absolutely no reason because this asshole is going to play games, or I stomp on him like a Koopa Trooper. And I'm like, it's Koopa Trooper time. Do-do-do-do-do.
Pretty sure
Right?
Mario got
Here
away
we
with
go!
Yeah.
And I just kind of hop off the fucking rail, right? And you can't think. The problem is, I'm a fairly intelligent man. And I would like to think about things. I'd be very happy to think about things in advance of the situations I get into. But if you spent that much time thinking about it, you wouldn't fucking survive it. Like when guys pull guns on you at work, when shit like that happens to me, which does happen. If I sat around and like philosophized on the best possible approach, how to do this the right way, I'd be fucking perforated already.
You
know?
just got to rely on instincts and muscle memory and training.
Pretty much. And if you don't have training, then you've got to rely on being a lunatic and just going with your guts. And I honestly,
That was my next
one thing I can say, Karim, Karim is much more trained than I ever was. And I've been doing this violent game for 25 years, over 20 plus years. You know why? Because fuck it. Fuck it. I just did it with madness. I'm like, you know what we're going to do? It's going to be crazy. We'll just do the most unexpected thing you can possibly do. So I want to tell a little story about stuffed toys.
Can you also tell the story about how to defend against a crazy, naked, greased-up guy?
Yes, I can.
Because that's good, too.
Same era, so it works. So stuffed animals. I used to carry a small, fluffy pink bunny in the inside coat pocket of my trench coat. And I used to wander around with that thing all the time. And it was the greatest bouncer additive street fighting tool I ever had. It was phenomenal. Because it is a psychological weapon of unmitigated proportions. It works on just about everybody. It's so shocking in the context that it's usually appearing in. So, for example, you're in a night spot. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. You're surrounded by gangsters. Everyone's drunk and high on drugs and fucking drinking. It's weird, dark, underground spot. Some guy starts picking a fight with you. And you stick your hand in your jacket. And instead of pulling out a knife or a gun or anything, you pull out a small, fuzzy, pink stuffed rabbit with a cute little button nose. And you look this guy straight in the face and you say, Bunny doesn't like the way you're treating me right now. And you nod the little rabbit's head no. No. This all has to stop right now. And the rabbit's head's like, yes. And it's amazing how often that would end like really dangerous situations. Like guys are about to pull knives on each other, but like, there's a schizophrenic guy with the bunny here who has to be 7 feet tall. I don't think the knife's going to cut it. Like, I'm not going to trust the fact that this Jason Voorhees looking motherfucker over here is just going to go completely horror movie on our ass right now. And the second factor of the bunny, which is fantastic, is you can toss it in the air or toss it at someone. And if they're already weirded out by it, they look at it. And looking up like this, right before someone steamrolls you, is probably the worst way you can look because you're going back on the back of your head. It's at the end of the fight every fucking time. And all it takes is an open palm like this to the chin to just drag you, throw you on your skull, and pull your neck way out of alignment in the process. I don't know how many guys who are probably twice the fighter I am ended up like in headgear, halo braces and shit because they watched the White Rabbit and should have been paying attention to the 400-pound guy punching them. So, hey, psychological warfare, it's a thing.
We have something in common.
Watch
That
out
was
for
my
White
signature
Rabbit.
move when I was a kid in snowball fights. I would zone out a guy by whipping it at him, and then I would lob a high one, and while they were looking at that, I would just fucking smoke them in the face.
Yep.
Worked every time. Dumb kids, you could do it multiple times in the same snowball fight. They'd be like, douche.
Yeah. I loved snowball fights, but I was such a bastard. I used to like take time to freeze snowballs and like put gravel in them and
dirty.
shit. Like
That's
I was
dirty.
that kid, you
Dirty
know?
fucker.
Gravel.
Yeah, don't forget, I was the fat kid in the neighborhood, so I couldn't leave my house and not get ambushed by like 10 guys, like whipping snow at me or trying to snow pile me or all this shit. So I came up with a couple of tricks. Like I said, putting the plastic bag of like ice balls full of gravel on the doorknob before you leave for school in the morning.
Those
You
were
walk that half block to school with that plastic bag, and the first 5 guys leap up out of their improvised snow forts and start whipping snowballs at you because, of course, the bullies are going to do that. You know, my dad played baseball. I knew how to throw. I'd wait. I just wait. The guy would, yeah. And as soon as I got the shot, I knew I could make it. Be like, eat it, just. Whew. And you watch those gravel ice balls. Oh man, they come in and you just see the skin peel off. Like, and the guy's like, man, like, yes, fuck you. 20 days a week of this 20 days a year of this fucking shit, you assholes. You're gonna suck it up this time. I learned how to defeat fucking towel whippings. The psychotic way. There's only one way.
What's that?
You take fishing weights.
Towel whippings, like what? Like
in the bathroom and in the change room, and guys would take their towels, wet the towel up, and go.
Okay.
Well, again, as the fat kid, I got a lot of that for a while, until I brought those little lead pinch weights that you'd use on a fishing line with me to school and put 3 of them on the lip of my towel. And these guys whipped me as I walked by, and I was like, yep, walked into the bathroom, crimp, crimp, crimp. In the wet, came out, whipped the first kid, split his back open like it was a cat of 9 tails. From like literally just like,
That's you.
just opened him up, right? Then I walked into the bathroom.
What's a cat of 9
pinched.
tails again? What is that?
It's a whip weighted with lead weights, with little beads.
Pokemon.
Walked back into the bathroom, popped the lead weights off into the toilet and flushed them. And then told the fucking swim teacher, like, yeah, I just whipped it with my towel. I don't know what the fuck. You know, he just sort of opened up like tuna fish. I don't know what the fuck happened with that. It's crazy. He's bleeding everywhere and screaming. Yeah, he must just be a weak-ass motherfucker, you know. What can I say? All these pansies in here just bleed so easy. And all the bullies are like, what the fuck? And I'm like, yeah, let's leave me alone because I'm done with your shit. Like, I'm moving on to the next level now. You want to whip me with towels? Okay. Want to do whipping thing? Let's do the whipping thing. Fuck you.
Whipping.
Well, that was it. I wasn't a violent kid by proclivity. I really wasn't. It just came down to like, am I going to be bullied by these assholes anymore? And the answer is no. And the greatest way to solve that problem is to show them, look, you're going to go 1 level, and there are like 10 levels you don't know about, like just waiting for you, like the collapsing pancake of a building just about to fall on your ass. You have no idea what's about to happen. So fuck you. We're going next level. Told a kid one time, don't touch my pencil case again, or I will nail your hand to the fucking table with this pencil. He didn't believe me. He reached over again, grabbed my shit. Bang! Right to the fucking table. He's screaming. I'm like, what the fuck did you think was going to happen? I just told you. I don't fucking bluff. I just told you.
Never shit a shitter.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
So, and I said it before. One of my mottos about fighting. If you're going to fight,
Do it.
mean it, and do it right away.
Right.
That's exactly it. Don't bluff. Bluffing is for pussies and assholes, man. Straight up. Guys who think they're tough but aren't will stand around all day telling you how tough they are.
Nether regions.
Guys who are ready to fight will knock you out right away and then go home and have dinner and not think about the fact that they knocked you out because you're just another casualty in their long list of stupidity. Yes, Jim, they will have pancakes.
Excuse me, is there an extra beer kicking around? Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. There's one in the fridge. Or there's one in the whatever.
Ooh, here's one. Wow. This beer brought to you by Big Bob.
Beer.
Big
It's
Bob
always
beer.
at hand.
Beers and bowls. That's what we'll call this episode.
What about the greased up man story?
Oh,
Tell us about
right.
that.
Greased up man story. So look, bouncer tips. Hot tips, bouncers. If you ever have to deal with a greased up naked guy on the dance floor,
And let's face it, it happens.
it does. It really actually fucking does.
I mean, this might be sweaty, pretty naked guys too. So maybe.
No, it's
Hey,
not.
all you young kids at home watching.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So you're expecting young kids to be walking me talking about greased up naked guys? Jesus Christ, McNabb, what the fuck's going on over here? You guys are all sexual predators. That's what this is. I've been lured.
Floor is yours.
Nabbers.
All right, so
Never.
pro tip. If you ever have the greased up naked guy, hot or not, in the middle of the room and you got to get rid of him, you can't just try and tackle him or grapple him because he'll slip out of your hands like a fish. What you got to do is you got to find joints, like the wrist. And you got to have at least one guy on each arm. You grab the wrist, and then you go, wee! And you pull him tight and keep holding on to the wrist. And then you lift him up from there, kind of like, like crucifixion styles, right? And just drag him really quickly through the room. Because he can kick and squirm and all the shit he wants. He's not going to get much leverage, and really, it's all right.
He's like a
And
stuck pig.
and for those of you living in our great free northern land here, you know that much of the year, it is a really shitty place to end up outside, greasy, and buck naked.
Oh boy.
So that's your pro tip for the week. Oh, secondary pro tip. If anyone pulls a gun out at work and they're just playing with it, they're a dick for sure, but thank you for that, Karim. That's true. They're definitely a dick. But more than that, the best way to deal with them is to walk up and play the same game, but with something strange. Like the guy's playing with the gun, and I realize this actually works. It's like you twirl your tin cup, you know, or you like play with a beer can. He's like pointing the beer can, so you just do the same thing, you know. He's pointing the gun, you just point the beer can and stuff, and you just like look around. You're like, yeah, you get really serious about nothing, so you can get close enough to be like, what's going on, Tex? What are we doing here? Why are there firearms everywhere? Because I've seen my coworkers handle this, and they're brilliant. They get in they sort of walk up like it's totally natural. This guy's playing with a gun. They're like, get really close to them. They're like, hey, man, you should like stop playing with this gun. It's kind of weird, don't you think? Like it's like Parcheesi, but this is the wrong place for Parcheesi. Like, you know, it's like,
Is there a right place for Parcheesi? That's another episode's topic, but continue.
At any rate, I'm just saying, you know, you got to deal with things the way they come. And if you're dealing with madness already, I guess it's sort of appropriate to respond as if you're kind of crazy. And that's one of the things about the booze can bouncing lifestyle that people don't understand. The reason bouncers act really strange and are very strange is the fucking people we fucking deal with day in, day out are extraordinarily fucking strange.
The ones you're especially looking out for, yeah.
Well, that's it. But even just the general people. I mean, I see about their best and their worst. They're super happy because they're at their brother's engagement party, or they're ridiculously drunk because their boyfriend just left them, or they're super pleased because it's, you know, whatever, at the show they love, or they're hating it because the band didn't make it. You know what I mean? Like, best and worst, right? And that emotional charge, be it good, positive, or negative, is fucking overwhelming. To live and to deal with that kind of overwhelming all the time is exhausting. It truly is. It's exhausting, right, Luna?
Luna was exhausted.
yeah,
she
she
was a little,
gets it.
She was being a little snory down there.
Dealing with all those personalities, just
Right.
managing personalities.
Well, it's just the intensity of people's emotions at that point. It's not about, 'cause you know, it's easy to handle mid-level emotional content all the time, but intense, high-level emotional contact all the time is really nerve-wracking. It's like I'm not having casual, normal conversations with people. It's like, yeah, man, everything is great, or where my boyfriend is, or like, I'm gonna kill this guy. Fuck you, motherfucker. You're gonna die. And like, it's never anything like, hey, how's your night tonight? Like that does not happen. And when it does, you're like,
What's wrong with you?
I'm okay. Are you on drugs or something? Like what?
Side note, what is the nicest thing someone's ever said or did to you on the way in? Has anyone ever brought you gifts or
One guy walked up to
Took you
me,
out big time,
handed me a $100 American bill,
not a boy?
and said, "Don't let me go home with men dressed like women." He said, "I trust you, and I forgot my glasses." And that was one of the nicest
Practical
things
service right there.
that anyone ever said to me.
Wow.
Wow.
I trust you and I forgot my glasses at home.
Yeah.
Wow. That's great. Jim just said he forgot his glasses.
Yeah, meaning like I hope this bouncer misses me leaving with this guy dressed as a woman.
I've done my due diligence against going home with a man. Now let's just do whatever.
Yeah, your due
Let's see
diligence
where the night
was
leads.
taking the $100 note, and everything else was up to him.
I took it. I did. I was like, "Thank you, sir."
If
And then later on, I'll tell you the truth, because he asked, later on, I walked up to him and I was like, shoulder to shoulder. He's like, "What?" I'm like, "Don't go." And he's like, "What?" And I'm like, "You forgot your glasses, right? Don't go." And then I walked away. Not to be rude, but because he asked very specifically, I was like, you know, because normally I don't care. Do what you want to do, right? Life is life. But you asked me a very specific question. I'm like, "Don't go." He comes over to me. He's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Dude, you forgot your glasses. Trust me. No." And he gave me another 100. So
nice.
that guy was really nice.
Nice.
Really nice.
If you saw him like a week later and he was like, "Hey Bob, what the fuck? I woke up after the night that I saw you and fucked a dude that looked like a girl. Give me my $100 back." Would you have given the $100 back?
No, I would have punched him. Because that's insensitive. That's just rude and stupid.
I was like, yeah, you did your job.
Yeah.
You took the money. That was.
I
your
also
job.
told him, I'm like, look, that does happen to be a guy in a dress. However, since you've asked me now twice and you still seem confused, maybe you just have to go for it, man.
That's not, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That sounds like that was just his own like psychological insurance policy or something.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And I don't mind making money on your psychological
Just
insurance
betting,
policy.
like betting
Right.
against himself.
Yeah,
basically.
that's why it's like take the money, but he's gonna go for it. Like,
Also, as an addendum, that's tip money. That money is taken. There's no going back. It's
fuck
done.
no.
Right.
What
Good
money?
point.
Gratuitous.
One time there was somebody coming into the bar where I was working, and they dropped $100 bill on the ground. And I saw them do it, so I'm like, "Hey, you dropped your cash on the ground." And this lady's like, "Oh, thanks so much. Here's a $20 tip for giving me back my $100 bill." It's like, okay, this person's obviously super flush with cash. Then they go to scan in, and they're like, "I don't have my ID," and none of them had their ID. And unfortunately, that was our rule: is without ID, you can't come in.
Sure.
Because you got to scan the ID. You can't scan the ID. You can't come in. So he's like, "Oh, well, give me my $20 back then."
No, give me
No.
the 100 back.
No,
Yeah,
that's
here,
that's
I'll,
done.
I'll give you the 20. You give me the 100. Fuck you.
man,
Are there
sticky.
are there other weird so that was a weird service that you provided for that guy as the bouncer, like you're like his concierge kind of thing. Are there other weird services that you've provided for people? Want to name
Oh, there always are.
or weird asks from
Keeping
people?
guys or girls' significant others out of places is one of the most common. Like,
Who do you believe?
well, but that's it. You have to,
And then
yeah.
you have to meet both of them and
Yeah,
be like,
yeah,
oh,
exactly.
oh, okay.
Like how
the
so?
other-
Like
Well, okay, so
a
boyfriend
guy has
says like, look, I
"Don't
just
remember."
left this girl. I don't want to deal with her. I know she's gonna follow me here and try and fuck me up when I'm out with other girls or whatever.
Right.
So you got to pick which one of them you're gonna let in. I often go with neither, because I'm a little bit heartless.
Good point.
So as soon as the story begins, I'm like, oh, that sounds like a fucking you problem. It's like, yeah, what if my girlfriend's up? Then she's gonna show up. So that you can both come in, and I can throw you both out together later, or you can both just fuck off and leave me alone. How about that?
Yeah, there's 100 fucking other bars in the city. How about not?
Yeah, there's
going
like
to
2,400 bars in Toronto, folks. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can find another spot. That's other pro tip for drinkers out there. If you're drinking at a bar and you get kicked out of one, there are lots of others. So standing up front saying obnoxious shit like, I'm going to sue you, man, because you threw me out of this bar for your drunken, obnoxious piece of shit. I'm going to sue you. Well, take my fucking card and call me on Tuesday, you punk. I don't give a fuck. Sue me. Go for it. Secondly, if you can't find another bar to serve you, it's because you're an asshole. You are an asshole, which means you should probably go home, buy another fucking cat, and resign yourself to the lonely life you're going to die in. Huzzah! World of Warcraft it up.
20 years.
The most amazing thing about that rant to me was that you have business cards.
I thought it was great that he calls him on Tuesday because fuck Monday.
Yeah. No, Monday's my fucking day.
That's what we need to get you. We need to get you business cards because you're not super down with it. I mean, we could also get you on Instagram as well. At some
Business card says, call me on Tuesday.
yeah, that's it. Big
Flip
Bob,
the card
call
over, it
Big
says,
Bob,
"Fuck
call me on
Mondays" on it.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
And no, and there's no number on it either. Call me on Tuesday. Where's the? What? There's no number.
You have to go on social media to find out that I don't have social media to not get my number. I love that. That's a
It's-
great idea.
it's the
Card
old
that leads to
time.
nowhere.
Right.
Except this podcast. It's like, well, I can watch them on TV. Want to talk to him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can.
Nope.
They can talk.
Take a number. You know.
They can talk to you by sending us DMs. You can add us at 39DD Show.
Show up at the
You
studio.
Can hashtag 39DD Show. You can come to a live taping on Mondays at Laughing Vikings or at other venues where we happen to be taping.
Yep, wherever we happen to be so found.
Just,
Look for
just
us
no
in the
guns
future.
or machetes.
You can
That's
hit
all
us
we
up
No,
on
no.
YouTube.
Or we'll spaghetti arm you.
Your own peril.
Yeah, come armed at your own risk. I got Batman and Robin here. Are you kidding? Plus, I got War Vet Jim. I got Giant in the audience. I'll sit over here, put random hats on, and watch them kick your ass.
Yeah, we got
If you're in other
Oldie.
countries and you can't physically get here for some reason or you're not able, you can also
You can always send your
watch
dick pics to
on
Jabril
YouTube.
at Jabril the Thrill, 39DD Show.
Let's do that. Can we? Are we breaking any laws if
No.
we say if we
No,
give
Jabril needs lots of dick
Jabril's-
pics.
What's Jabril's Instagram handle? Flash Jabril's Instagram handle anyone out there, whether it doesn't have to be your dick necessarily.
No,
but
just any dick
send
pic you think he
random-
might enjoy.
Let's
He is
flood his.
pro-
Let's prank him and flood for not being here tonight.
Look,
A,
he
Pro
thinks we
dick
all have to be
pics.
more open to dick pics. You
A,
know what
he
I'm
doesn't
saying?
get a
So you don't
postcard,
have to send him
and
one
B,
of
he
yours.
gets a
Just
bunch
send
of
him any dick
dicks.
pic you think he would enjoy.
That's hilarious.
So
I'm
it
sorry,
looks
Jabril.
like
We do love you.
Jabril
Look, it could
I'm not
Abdi.
sorry. I don't know.
Look, it could be biology.